Hello from the Dukascopy TV studio in Geneva. We are asking the question, how can you insure against cybercrime? And we have Sandrine Conti here in the studio from Swiss Risk and Care. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
So cybercrime has risen in the last months, and so it has become a real risk for any company. Can you give us an update what cybercrime incidences are happening very often these days, and how can you actually do something against them?
Yeah, so whether data breach, cybercrime, cyber extortion, it's really been a big threat in the last years. And what is very important is that it is touching any size of companies. So any companies can be touched. It can be just because a password was bad, or because you have one person who's behind the desk, like we see now, and organizing everything. So, or you can be behind. There can be a really organized party, even some secret services and things like that. So it is something that has risen a lot, and all companies have a lot of data, their own data, third-party data. So it's and they can have very sensitive data. So it's really something that are very important, because we all have customers' information now. And we can have very confidential and sensitive customers' information.
How does the legal environment help to prevent cybercrime these days?
So the legal environment there are two aspects. The first aspect is linked to personal data protection, and these you have different laws in most of the countries at the moment. So for example, if you're an hospital or an insurance or any person holding personal data from your clients or from your own employees, you have to be very careful, because you're liable for that. Then you have all the legal environment that is different depending on the countries, but in Europe there has been a major change, because there is a ruling that is from 2013, and that has started to be in place in some countries, that will go on until this year. And in this ruling you have not only do you have liabilities, but you can have fines. And this is a new thing in Europe. So you can have a fine that is up to 5% of your company turnover. And this ruling will be transposed in Switzerland too. So this is a major legal change for companies in Switzerland.
Mm-hmm. So there is the loss of data, and also risk of like losing this data, but also the risk of having fines. So these are some real risks when a cybercrime is happening for a company. How can you insure against these risks?
So what is very important when you have such a risk, I would say the first risk is the image risk. So the first risk is the image risk, especially, for example, if you're in the US, look at what happened to Target, because you have to go to the media and to say, we have been hacked. Your data is around there on the web. Okay, so this is a major problem for the company, because they have to be fast, and they have to act not only as generally if you done something to another person, which is the third party liability, but there they really have to do PR to be able to have a good media cover, and a media that will help them, instead of having a very bad image. So what we do, and where the insurance is very interesting, is that it not only does provide the regular insurance cover, but it gives direct access to experts that will see, for example, first forensic, as I was telling you, who did that, do they want an extortion? So you may even have someone who's going to be negotiating. Then you have all the media, the PR expert, the legal experts. And then you have all the IT experts. So these experts, if you have an insurance contract, depending on the contract, but you have direct access to these experts, and you don't have to worry about, oh, this just happened, what do I have to do? Do I have to call a crisis? And who is the person, who is the expert? There you have direct access to people who know that, who have done it already, and who've done it a dozen of times or more, whereas in Switzerland it may not have happened so many times. So this is very important. Plus you have these experts worldwide, because in terms of cybercrime, where you have the problem, it can be the headquarters, it can be where your client is based, but it can also be where your server is. If your data is in the States, then you have the state law. So this is very important to have a worldwide cover of expertise, also to be able to assess you and to tell you what's best to do, what you shouldn't do, and to give you all necessary information so that you can take steps and choose, like BCG did, for example, not to give anything for the extortion.
Mm-hmm. And what about the price? How much does a company need to pay, more or less?
Okay, so the price really depends on the size of the company and where you want it, but globally, at the moment, it's not a very expensive cover. So it's really especially if you think about what you can have, what expertise you can have access to when you have a problem, plus the probability to have this problem, it's really a good buy.
And Swiss Risk and Care is an insurance broker helping clients to find the right insurance solution. Thank you very much, Sandrine Conti, for being here today.
Thank you very much.
And thanks for watching. Do make sure to keep clicking back on the Dukascopy TV website for latest updates and exclusive interviews. Have a good day and see you next time.